in. Big up yourselves for coming through. Big up to all the mods. Big up to Broderick. Big up to Lumi Rain. And big up to Barbara Joseph each and every time. Appreciate you guys. Appreciate you guys' support. And as I said, yeah, listen, happy Friday, man. Big up Broderick. So yeah, listen, another week gone through. And do you know what? This week's actually been okay, to be fair. Hope you guys have had a good Friday as well. Again, I got the boxing coming up, 6th of December, the fight coming up. So it's time to get to work, man. So as always, just training hard and keeping focused, man. So that's the aim for the next 8 weeks. Just keeping focused, get the training in, get the content out, eating healthy, and just staying fit, man. So yeah, listen, I'm looking forward to it. And as I said, I got some. I'm going to be bringing out some content just based on my training, my sparring, etc. So as I said, that'll be members only. So keep an eye on that for if you guys want to view that. So yeah, so Friday today, as I said, hope you guys are doing well. And listen, make sure you guys have a good weekend as well. I know it's a bit boring at the moment with the international break. So yeah, listen, once we get through this, we can get back onto Manchester United. And as I said, if you guys were here yesterday, you would have seen the stream, some good numbers on that. And the thing is, when I heard Ratcliffe come out, I mean, I've seen the interview as well. And to be honest with you, like, I don't know what to think in terms of him saying Amarim needs 3 years. But again, I don't believe this is a definite, because if Amarim goes on a losing streak, I mean, the next 4 games, you'd have to believe if he is still here, which is looking likely now. If he doesn't get wins in them next 4 games, Liverpool, Brighton, Nottingham Forest, and Tottenham, I mean, this whole 3 years, I think, will be down the drain. And as I said, I think Jason Wilcox and Omar Barada, I think they're going to have the say in terms of what happens to Amarim. And then I think Ratcliffe will just sign it off. So it is what it is, Saka becoming the best winger in the league, I think that's a fair opinion. Listen, another deluded comment, but yeah, it is what it is. Big up to Daniela as well for coming through. Yeah, so guys, let's get on to it anyway. Kobbie Mainoo, Joshua Zirkzee, obviously in the thumbnail, and obviously reports about Zirkzee and Kobbie Mainoo leaving Manchester United in the January transfer window. Now, for me, I did say when Kobbie was angling for a move, I did say that I personally felt it was a case of him and his team trying to force Ineos really to make a decision on the manager. And I'm still going to stick by that, because I still don't think Kobbie Mainoo leaves Manchester United. I think with the World Cup coming up next year, him and Zirkzee at the moment, if we're being honest, we're looking at it and thinking those two definitely have to, get a loan move, or the hope that Ruben Amorim does get replaced, because as long as Ruben Amorim is here, those two players are not playing regularly. You think of 1 game a week, these guys are only going to be getting, minutes from the bench. They might get the odd start, but in Ruben Amorim's thinking, in Ruben Amorim's best team, I think it's a case of I think it's a case of literally those two just trying to those two just trying to get game time when they can. And as I said, I'm frustrated because it's one of them things where I don't want to see both of them leave, because I definitely do think both of them players are 2 of Manchester United's best players. But if we're being honest, it's one of them things where I think the fact that Jim Ratcliffe is coming out saying that Amarim deserves 3 years. I think we can only say really that it's looking likely, a possibility that these two might be moved on. Who knows? But yeah, I don't really know. I don't really know. It's difficult. Big up to Barbara Joseph for the £5 super sticker. Big up Barbara each and every time. Appreciate it. So yeah, listen, I would say with the Joshua Zirkzee and Kobbie Mainoo, I still don't want to believe that both of them will get moved on. But it's one of them things, as I said, that the fact that he is that this manager looking like he's staying. And again, the reason I keep pausing, guys, is because I just can't believe that we're potentially going in to the whole season. I'm gonna say, again, nothing's set in stone. We're potentially going into a new season with Ruben Amorim at the helm still, and there's no way that I would have thought that this Ruben Amorim would definitely still be here. It's impossible. So I think it's looking likely, even more likely in January, that Mainoo and Zirkzee will be on the move, because unless, because the standards at this club are at an all-time low, and unless, Ineos do make a change, then I think it's safe to say that it is going to be a case of them two, just moving on, unfortunately. But I'm hoping I'm wrong. But I just don't know what to think, man. It's one of them things. Big up to Lumi Rain as well for the super sticker. Big up Lumi each and every time. Big up to X Zinks as well for coming through. So yeah, I mean, I'm just a bit conflicted really at the moment with Kobbie Mainoo and Zirkzee, because I definitely do think they are two of Manchester United's best players in terms of quality. And, you guys have probably heard me mention this before. This manager doesn't like to play footballers. It's quite clear, He likes to play the runners, as we know. And it's one of them things where I'm just thinking maybe a loan deal, if this manager does stay, might be the best for their careers. Because, as I said, the World Cup, is at the end of the season next year. And these two players would want to be in the squad. I think at the moment now, you'd have to say that Kobbie Mainoo, I think more than Joshua Zirkzee, has more to do to get into that squad. And that's only because if you look at the midfielders that are there already, Declan Rice has got one place in that squad nailed already. And then it becomes a case of Elliot Anderson is making himself a certainty to be in the squad right now as it stands. And then you've got the likes of other players that have been left out that are favourites of either the manager or favourites of the fan base. So yeah, I think Kobbie's got a bit to do still, to get into this squad. Joshua Zirkzee, on the other hand, I think if Zirkzee, because I'm looking at Holland's strikers, and Holland really haven't got any strikers that I would say that will just definitely keep Zirkzee out of the squad. So you think of Wout Weghorst, Depay, what's his name? Brian Brobby as well. I'm not sure if Luke de Jong's still there, but you would definitely say if Zirkzee does get game time, he'll be a certainty to be in that squad. So I think he's got more of an opportunity, whereas I think with England and in that midfield area, it's a bit different for Kobbie, because Kobbie is definitely good enough to be in that squad, be in the lineup for me. But I think the fact that he's not getting much game time is a bit of a problem. So, yeah, we'll have to see what happens. Højlund, another brace last night. What the fuck is B actually good? Listen, I mean, people that are doing revisionism for Rasmus Højlund, I don't really get it. I mean, Rasmus Højlund can get goals all he wants. The facts are, when Rasmus Højlund was at Manchester United, he was a failure. The guy went 20-odd games without scoring. So I couldn't really give a damn what Højlund's doing now, if he's scoring goals. I mean, his goals come against Belarus, for Denmark yesterday. I think he got 2. Yeah, he got 2 yesterday against Belarus. Again, against the better teams, he's not really doing anything. So I'm not really that fussed what Rasmus Højlund's doing. The facts are, at Man United, he was one of the worst strikers to play at the club, if not the worst. And the fact that he's gone, yeah, as I said, even better. So yeah, I'm not here for no Rasmus Højlund revisionism, in my opinion. Do you know Hamza Chowdhury? He's the former right back of Leicester. Now he plays for Bradford. Yeah. Hamza Chowdhury played for Hamza Chowdhury is actually a centre midfield player. Obviously, he played for Leicester in the Premier League and that. I didn't even know he went to Bradford. Is that recent? Because last I see, he was starting right back for Leicester and he was the captain. So if he's gone to Bradford, that's a recent one. So I'm not sure on that one, but yeah, I do know who he is. But guys, yeah, let me know what you think about Kobbie Mainoo and Joshua Zirkzee. Do you think these two players, should be moved on in January, or do you think it's a case where they should just hang in there until Ruben Amorim, regardless of what Sir Jim Ratcliffe is saying? Because me personally, again, I don't want to see two players. Joshua Zirkzee is 24. Kobbie Mainoo is 20. So for me, I don't want to see either player be moved on. So for me, I just think it's a case of them two just hanging in there, because I'm looking at these next 4 games if he does survive Amorim. And I don't think Ineos can afford, or Jim Ratcliffe can afford, to say that Ruben Amorim gets 3 seasons, based on these next four games. And again, the fact that I'm saying these next 4 games is ridiculous, because he shouldn't have been here, really, if we're honest, at the start of the season, after what happened last season with the Europa League final and with what happened in the league as well. So the fact that he got the season, and then the start of the season, the first 5 games, he only got 7 points, which I thought was unacceptable. And then the next 2 against Brentford and Sunderland, he got 3 points, which he should have got 6, really. And now we're saying 3 years from Ratcliffe, and now we're saying 4 games. Again, it's just pushing the goalposts, and it's just the lowering of the standards as well each and every time. So it's just a case of now, yeah. Like, I'll be honest with you, as a Man United fan right now, I'm just gonna go through the motions with this manager as long as he's here, because it's very obvious that they want to give him time, and it's gonna be the wrong decision. So for me, I'm just not too I'm just not too fussed, man, with what's happening, because as I keep saying, ultimately, it's going to end in failure, and we're just throwing away games, throwing away points, and again, other players that are the best players are getting disillusioned. So it's one of them things. Big up to Iftikhar as well. So Iftikhar says the Saudi sports supremo Turki Al-Sheikh is considering buying Man United and is currently negotiating. Yeah, again, I've heard that already. I've purposely not spoken about that, because I'll be honest with you, yeah. I'm just tired of this Saudi talk, to be honest with you, because Saudi there was a chance for Saudi to come in, before Ineos come in, and again, it didn't happen. There was a chance for Bruno Fernandes to be moved on from one of the Saudi clubs. It never happened. So again, yeah, I'm just bored of that talk, man. Again, if it happens, it happens. If it doesn't, it doesn't. And as I said, I'm not really too fussed about talking about that, because it's just it's just pointless, man. So Abdi Aziz says, thoughts on Palmer? Is he the next biggest thing? Yeah, Cole Palmer's a top player, man. Definitely. For me, I'll definitely have him starting for England when he's fit in the World Cup. But yeah, he's a top player, man. Top player. And it'll be interesting to see, who actually starts under Thomas Tuchel in this World Cup, because I think when it comes round to picking the squad, if the majority of the players are fit, I think the team he selects, You know, for me, I can just see that there's going to be a lot of players that people are expecting to start probably not playing. You know, and I definitely do think, yeah, it's going to be interesting to see, man. 100%. Just seeing the Ricky Hatton funeral um, on Sky Sports now. So yeah, live happening now. Crazy, man, Ricky Hatton. To think that he passed away. Gav, opinion on Gilberto Mora potentially playing for PSG or Barca. He has 3 goals and 3 assists in 4 games so far for Mexico under 20s in the World Cup. Yeah, listen, I've heard of Gilberto Mora. I've not really seen him play too tough, to be honest with you. But again, I haven't had chance to watch the under 20 World Cup. I know you've been saying to me to try and watch that, but yeah, I haven't really been watching it. But yeah, listen, man, there's gonna be some breakout stars there, and hopefully, they'll be looking at the case of them trying to force their way really into the first teams. So, but yeah, no, I've definitely heard of the Gilberto Mora guy. Guys, anyone watch the England game yesterday? Beating Wales 3-0. I actually missed it, but again, I'm not really too fussed with these kind of games that England plays, to be honest with you, because like it means nothing. It actually means nothing, you know. So yeah, it just as I said, it's one of them things where yeah, it doesn't really make a difference what England do against these teams, because as we know, when it comes to the World Cup, this is when we're gonna see what's really going on, you know. So that's when it matters. Big up to Daniela for the super sticker, I think it was, or the contribution. Yeah, big up Daniela, big up, appreciate it. So yeah, guys, just saying. Obviously, I think someone the other day asked me if Joshua Zirkzee was to leave, where do I see him ending up? Um, you know what it is, yeah. I would like to think that Zirkzee could go to another Premier League team, but I've not heard really any news on Joshua Zirkzee moving on any other teams being interested in Zirkzee from the Premier League. I look at Premier League teams now, and I think he could play for the majority of the teams in this league. I think a lot of fans, are downplaying how good Zirkzee is because, for a start, Ruben Amorim's not playing him, and for a start, and I think it's one of them things as well. People just don't really take into account that how good of a footballer Zirkzee is, and I definitely do think that he could play for. Like, I'm gonna go as far and say, I think he could play for any team in this league. I think he can. I think people need to realize that this guy's, is very high on quality, and the fact that Amarim's not playing him doesn't mean that Xerxes not a good player, because he is. But it's just one of them things that, this manager quite clearly doesn't rate the profile of him as a striker. So, as I said, yeah, it's just frustrating to see. But I do think he can play for any team in this league in the right system. Again, the likes of City, the likes of Liverpool, they're not going to sign him because obviously they've got Erling Haaland. They've got Marmoush as well that can play as a 9. Obviously Liverpool have got Isak and Ekatike, so their need for a striker's not there. I look at Chelsea, for instance. I know they've got João Pedro, they've got Liam Delap, who's out injured, but Xerxes every bit as good as both of them. And then you look at Arsenal, because Xerxes play for Arsenal, of course he can. Do I see him playing for Arsenal? I don't. But he's every bit as good to play for Arsenal, I'll be honest. And it's one of them things where, yeah, his profile, for me, I think he'd be a better foil for the likes of Saka, the likes of Martinelli out there than Gyökeres. He might not get the goals of Gyökeres, even though Gyökeres hasn't really scored too much anyway in the game time that he's had. But I think in terms of what he could provide, I think he'd be a better foal for both Martinelli and for Saka. So yeah, and then abroad, I mean, this might be a bit of a surprise, yeah. But I'll be very surprised if a Barcelona don't look at him. And I think the only reason why Barca potentially won't look at him at the moment is because they're looking at his goal return. But I don't believe we should be looking at someone like Zirkzee as his goal return, because the way football is now, football's different. You need strikers like a Zirkzee that can contribute to having a free-flowing attack. Because as I said previously, if you've got goal-scoring wide players and then you've got a Zirkzee as a false nine, then it works, because Zirkzee can just link things together and then you'll get goals shared out throughout the whole team. But that'll be because of his general play. So again, I'm looking at Barca and them needing a striker to replace Lewandowski in the future. For me, there ain't no outstanding striker out there. I think the obvious one was an Isak, but Isak's not going there now because he's at Liverpool. But I look at Zirkzee if things don't work out at Man United, and I think they'll be missing a trick not going for someone like him, because he'll fit into the style of play that Barca play as well. And again, I'm not saying Zirkzee's going to get 30 goals, but what he'll definitely do is contribute to that front line. And then if you're getting, 15 goals from Zirkzee, but you're getting a lot of assists, and you've got Yamal one side getting his goal return will go up. If Rafinha's still there as well, we already know what Rafinha can do. You got Ferran Torres still there. Obviously Rashford's on loan. But they might go out and get another player that might be a goal-scoring wide man. And then all of a sudden, it kind of works. So I'll be very surprised if they're not looking at a Joshua Zirkzee, a Barcelona, and especially other teams as well. YNWA says, I can't imagine Zirkzee in any other team, not gonna lie. Yeah, I can. I think don't look at the fact that Joshua Zirkzee isn't playing under Ruben Amorim, because as I said, Ruben Amorim is quite clearly doesn't rate footballers. So when he's not playing, it's not because Zirkzee's not good enough. It's just that because Amorim just doesn't rate his profile as a striker that he likes. But I guarantee you this now, the next manager that comes in is going to rate Zirkzee. And again, the next manager that comes in has to be a footballing manager. So someone that wants to play with the most technical players in the team. That's what I would say. Big up to Daniela with the super chat. Big up Daniela says, hey Gav, what are the chances of Man United winning the Premier League? Good question. I would say at this moment in time, it's a long way off that. In actual fact, someone asked me this the other day, and I said, the way I look at Man United right now, in terms of their squad, in terms of the infrastructure that's trying to be built now at the club, in terms of the new stadium as well, that it looks like it's going to be coming. I look at Man United now, and I don't necessarily think there is major changes in terms of the starting 11 that can see Man United shoot right up the table. I think as it stands right now, I'm going to say 3 to 4 years before United win a Premier League. But again, my opinion could change depending on players that are brought in and depending on the removal of this manager. Because I look at the league right now and people are going to say City, Arsenal, Liverpool, etc. are way ahead of Manchester United in a sense. And I wouldn't blame people for thinking that. But I look at the fact that Liverpool haven't been convincing this season and obviously find themselves second. Although Arsenal are top, they haven't been convincing. And Man City haven't been convincing. Neither have Chelsea. So just based on that, I don't think Man United are a million miles away from competing. For me, as I said, change of formation, change of manager, and players. Because I think if you can get all three of them right, which are the three major things that are wrong for me at the moment in terms of on the pitch, if you can change them and get them right, I think very quickly you'll find that Manchester United are not that far away from them teams. Even though them teams are spending a lot of money, even though them teams are consistently in the Champions League. And as we know, the revenue is going to keep going up for them teams as well. But I'm looking purely on the pitch, and a change of formation, a change of manager, and better players coming in. You know, you will see very quickly that Man United aren't that far behind them clubs. But at this moment in time, as long as Ruben Amorim stays in, there's no chance of a league title. But I think you change the manager, you change the formation, and you get better players coming in. I wouldn't be adverse to saying 3 to 4 years. I think that's fair to say. 3 to 4 years. But yeah, great question, Daniela. Big up. Black Mojo King says, Zirkzee is a pretty damn good footballer. Unreal technical ability. People running the same not good gimmick with Mainoo too, since they're not getting playing time. I agree. He's a great footballer, man. And I think this is what this is what people need to realise. You know, don't look at Joshua Zirkzee being on the bench, not getting game time, and thinking that he's not a good player and that he can't play for other teams, because he can. Again, I've been watching football long enough to know that this is a highly technical player that is not being used in the right way. You know, because as I said, if you've got a manager that wants to play with the best footballers, Zirkzee starts every week. And the fact that we're hearing him and Kobbie, you know, angling for moves in January, you can see why, really, because the World Cup's around the corner. And these guys know that they should be playing 100%. So, yeah, he's a very good footballer, man. But as long as you've got the manager in charge, he's going to favour the runners over footballers. So, yeah, it's one of them things. Big up to Mark Colclough. So, predict the next Champions League winner and next Ballon d'Or. So, for me, the next Champions League winner, the next Champions League winner, I believe, is... I mean, the front runners for me are PSG. I'm going to say PSG, Barcelona. Again, that game the other night, you would definitely say that team, that those two teams there are... that should be a final for me. But I'm going to say the front runners, which ain't really going to be a surprise, is Barcelona, PSG, PSG, Barcelona. I think you have to put Real Madrid in there, even though I don't think Real Madrid will win it. But I think Real Madrid will be up there. And then I think one of the... I mean, Bayern Munich, you can say. I mean, many people think Bayern Munich are one of the best teams in the world at the moment. I think City or Liverpool might fancy their chances. So I think any one of them teams there, I think might be the favourites. I mean, I can't say who's going to win it, because I think it's going to be difficult. But I definitely think between PSG and Barca, I expect one of them two teams to be, you know, once they get up to speed, I expect one of them two teams to be at least in the semi-final. So yeah, that's what I think. Yeah, but who knows, man? Who knows? It's gonna be it's a long way to go, because there's a lot of competition, obviously, in that Champions League. And as I said, I think some people might think Arsenal might be up there. You know, I disagree, but as I said, yeah, it's one of them things really that any one of them teams can be up there. You know, a lot of stars turned up for the Ricky Hatton funeral, man. Crazy. Tyson Fury there now as well. Yeah, mad. Gav, opinion on Ratcliffe saying Amorim needs to stay for 3 more years. He said Sir Alex took 2 years to start winning and Amorim might take 3. Yeah, listen, again, I spoke about this yesterday. And the fact that Ratcliffe thinks Amorim deserves 3 years, again, it just shows you that how far this club has dropped. Because for him to compare Sir Alex, it took Sir Alex 2 years and Amorim 3, and Amorim might need 3, is absolutely funny. Because again, Sir Alex had a record of what he done for Aberdeen in Scotland. Not to mention that Man United were, you would say, a sleeping giant as well. So the parameters for him were different. Again, you've got the likes of Mourinho, who I didn't really want. Louis van Gaal was the only manager since Sir Alex Ferguson that I had patience for, because he was building something. But you think of Mourinho winning 2 trophies, even Ten Hag won a trophy, Van Gaal won a trophy. So these guys all won trophies, inside 2 years, and these guys were sacked. So really and truly, you're thinking Amorim now, is recorded the worst ever finish for Manchester United. The win percentage is lower than anyone. Lost the Europa League final. And now we're saying he deserves 3 years. So basically, actually, what Sir Jim Ratcliffe is saying is that he's willing to reward failure. That's basically what it comes down to. He's willing to reward failure by saying he deserves 3 years and saying Sir Alex only got 2. Which is, as I said, man, it's just ridiculous. It's ridiculous to think that they want to give Amorim 3 years. Like, madness. Big up to Jay for coming through as well. Yeah, it's crazy, man, to think. It's crazy to think. But all I would say is Tony Bellew here. Tony Bellew just arriving now as well. So yeah, all I would say is oh yeah, that's a bit controversial, isn't it? Tyson Fury and Tony Bellew, because obviously there was war of words between Tony Bellew and Tyson Fury's dad, John Fury. That's crazy, because I'm just watching it right now. Tyson Fury and Tony Bellew standing together, but obviously they don't get on. That's crazy, That's crazy. That's crazy. That's a bit awkward, isn't it? Because, yeah, guys, apologies, man. Yeah, I'm just watching, I was watching Tony Bellew and Tyson Fury. Just, you can see that was awkward. So, yeah, going back to what I was saying, yeah, listen, going back to what I was saying, I forgot what I was saying, actually. Yeah, to think that they want to give Amorim 3 years. Yeah, listen, man. And again, it's not even me getting. I'm not even fed up no more. As I said, I'm gonna go through the motions as a Man United fan, as someone that's just gonna give my true and honest opinion. And Sir Jim can say whatever he wants, but the proof is in the pudding, man. Because if he starts losing game, this whole talk about giving him three seasons, yeah, it's gonna be laughed. It's gonna be laughed off. So, and again, to think that Amorim's performed the way he has and still gonna get time, yeah, it's crazy, man. It's crazy. So, it is crazy. Guys, anyone catch any of the internationals yesterday? Anyone catch any of the internationals between who played yesterday? I think Holland played Malta. I think Holland won that 4-0. Who else played? I can't remember who played. Obviously, England has obviously played Wales. Anyone catch any of the internationals yesterday? Riyad Mahrez getting a goal and 2 assists. Yeah, top player, man, Mahrez. So Egypt qualified for the World Cup. Who did Egypt play yesterday? Did they play anyone yesterday? Cole Palmer's out for a month. He's back next month. Guys, make sure we're smashing that like button and make sure we're subbing to the channel if we're new in there as well. So you not think Amorim has done well in the attempt to clear out, considering Jose and Rangnick both were very vocal about the squad needing to be overhauled. So yeah, listen, I think that's the best thing Amorim has done, if I'm honest with you, yeah? I think the fact that Amorim has come in and you're thinking of the likes of Garnacho, you're thinking of Højlund especially, being removed from the club. Again, the one thing that I can say, you know, Amorim has done a good job is the fact that those players have been moved out, because Man United definitely needed to clear out. You know, Rashford as well going out on loan. They definitely needed to clear out. So that's the one thing he's done well. But I think we can't get away from what we're seeing on the pitch, you know. I think the very fact that Manchester United, you know, have dropped the standards in terms of... Because again, the standards were dropped when Solskjaer was in charge, because let's face it, Solskjaer should never have been there. But to think that I'm going to say I preferred Solskjaer in charge than Ruben Amorim is saying something. You know, to think that Ten Hag, who was an absolute joke, I preferred him than Ruben Amorim, that's saying something, because I've not seen nothing from Amorim to suggest that he's been a better appointment as manager than Ten Hag and Solskjaer. So again, the standards were dropped there. I think they're even lower now. So yeah, again, the only thing I think that Amorim has done well is the clearing out of the players. But we can't get away from the fact that Man United's win percentage is the lowest it's ever been. You know, you would say since the 1930s. He's got 10 wins in the Premier League as Manchester United manager in, 9 months, I believe. And again, just look at who those wins have come against. Relegated teams now, promoted teams, and teams that have been down to 10 men, you know. So the fact that this system, the 3-4-2-1, doesn't get the best out of the best players, and in theory, the best players are on the bench, the likes of Zirkzee, the likes of Kobbie Mainoo, you know. So yeah, there's so many things that's wrong. But the one thing I would agree with you, that he has cleared out players, which, yeah, I think that's the best thing that he can, that I think he can be proud of. But everything else, you can't. You don't lose to Europa League final to Tottenham and be confident of keeping your job. And the fact that he's kept his job is the problem. So it's crazy, man. It's crazy. At least we were winning games under Ollie. We had a counter-attacking style that worked. He just couldn't have controlled the team, and buying Ronaldo instead of Ruben Neves fucked us up. So again, let's go on to that, because again, under Ollie, yeah, Ollie wasn't a coach. He wasn't. You know, he'll be the first one to tell you that. Yeah, he had no right being at Man United as a manager in the first place. And let's face it, the only reason Solskjaer was manager of Manchester United is because he stuck his leg out in '99 to win United the Champions League. That is the only reason he was given the manager's job. Because if he never stuck his leg out, there's no chance of Solskjaer. There's no chance of Solskjaer being Man United manager. I think everyone can agree with that, yeah? But at least with Ollie knew that he wasn't a great manager and just tried to put the best players on the pitch, you know, and just let the players figure it out themselves. You know, that's a sign of someone that just knows that he hasn't really got what it takes, but he's just riding the wave. So that's the one thing you can say with Solskjaer that you can respect. Where I lost respect for Solskjaer as a Man United manager was that he had the cheek to play Paul Pogba at Anfield as a winger, as a midfielder to go and track Andy Robertson. Like, that's a joke for me. And not to mention as well, the whole Cristiano Ronaldo coming back to Manchester United. Solskjaer's even said he didn't want Ronaldo coming back, but that was a club decision, and that was the biggest problem Man United done in bringing Ronaldo back. And what it is that people actually thought that Ronaldo was going to Man City. Man City were never signing Ronaldo. Pep Guardiola was never going to sign Ronaldo. It was just a rumor to get United to act really on Ronaldo, because Ronaldo was never going to go Man City because of his love for Man United, and Man City were never going to get Ronaldo. And then what happens? Man United then end up taking Ronaldo back. And although people that are in love with Ronaldo wasn't really effective for United. People will say he got 18 Premier League goals in Manchester United's worst season, they would say. But what I don't tell you is that even though he got 18 goals, a lot of his goals come in, like, I think, if I remember right, 18 of his goals come in 10 games, where he got braces, where he got a hat-trick, I think, against Tottenham. So again, it's not like Ronaldo was contributing to Man United through the majority of the season, because he wasn't. He was just scoring goals in bunches. And again, these are the contexts that people don't want to talk about, because people will tell you Ronaldo scored 18 goals, but it's funny how he got the majority of the goals and the team didn't. So what people need to understand is that if you've got a player that is hogging the majority of the goals, yeah, that's not a good thing, because it means that that one player is hogging the goals, and then the rest of the team, they're dropping off really in terms of numbers. Because there's no denying the fact that when Man United had Mason Greenwood, Marcus Rashford, and Anthony Martial in the front three, just go and have a look at how many goals combined those three scored. And then when you put a Ronaldo in there, and then those three don't get game time, and then you've got one player hogging the goals, again, just knowing football, that's never a good thing. So Ronaldo came back to Man United was a problem. People are not going to want to see that, because they're either in love with Ronaldo or don't want to see it. But him coming back to Man United was an absolute problem. So, yeah. And then, obviously, he did score 6 Champions League goals that season. But what does that mean? Like, I'd expect Ronaldo to get 6 Champions League goals. He's the holder for goals in that competition. But it's not like Man United won it or done anything meaningful in it, I think people just looking at Ronaldo as, because it's Cristiano Ronaldo, let's just back him no matter what. But the reality is, him coming back to Manchester United second time round was pointless, because I watched every game, Man United game, and the majority of the time he wasn't effective in the game in terms of contributing to the actual team. He was getting goals at the expense of the team, which is never good. But again, people don't want to see that because it's Ronaldo, so you can't really say anything against him. But not on this channel, man. I say what I got to say. And again, Ronaldo did his job. The rest of the team didn't. But I maintain he was the wrong signing. I mean, when you're saying he did his job, I to an extent, I understand what you're saying. But the problem is, he didn't do his job for the team, when you think about it, because he wasn't. I'd much rather if Ronaldo was contributing to the team and the team was successful. But if you're getting numbers and the team are performing badly, you can't just look at the rest of the team and say Ronaldo did his job and the team didn't, because that's not how football works. You know what I mean? It's one of them things where if he's contributing to the team, because too many times I watched Manchester United and the play was breaking down, so the ball would get up to Ronaldo. Again, people need to remember Ronaldo's not a striker. Ronaldo's actually a wide player that converted into a forward. He's not a number 9 striker. He's not. He's just someone that was adept at getting numbers. Yeah. So when you're playing the Premier League and you need your striker to link the play or to hold the ball up, Ronaldo's not that kind of player. He never has been. So again, I look at Ronaldo at Man United as someone that wasn't contributing to the team's style of play, but he was getting numbers to the detriment of the team, because his numbers were going up, but the team's performance were going down. And again, I'm no fan of Bruno Fernandes, yeah? But the fact that Bruno Fernandes, came in, the fact that Bruno Fernandes was there and Ronaldo came in and Bruno Fernandes' numbers dropped, that should tell you everything. Because you're never going to have Ronaldo and Bruno in the same team and both players are getting numbers. That's not how football works. So something had to give. And unfortunately, Ronaldo coming in meant that Bruno's numbers decreased. But that's just knowing football. So again, you bringing in Ronaldo and people saying that he done his job, but then the team dropped off as a whole. Is there any surprise why United recorded a low finish? And then just go and have a look at the next goal scorers other than Ronaldo. I think the next goal scorer other than Ronaldo, I think had something like 6 or something low like that. So although Ronaldo, in many people's eyes, was a good signing, on the whole, it wasn't a great signing for Manchester United, you know. So so Kevin says Bruno's numbers dropped because Ronaldo was taking set pieces and pens. And you know what? I'm actually glad you said that, because the fact that I know that you're someone that rates Bruno Fernandes and you're now admitting, really, that Bruno's numbers dropped because Ronaldo's taking set pieces and pens. So that just tells you the only reason Bruno Fernandes is hyped is because of numbers, because of set pieces and penalties. So there's your answer, guys. There's your answer. So Kevin has said it, yeah? And Kevin's a fan of Bruno Fernandes, yeah? So the fact that Bruno's numbers dropped because Ronaldo was on pens and set pieces, this is why when we're looking at Bruno Fernandes, take it with a pinch of salt, because the fact that he plays every game and he's on every set piece, every penalty now, yeah, there's a reason why Bruno Fernandes' stats are misskewed. So there's your answer right there. So there you go, man. There you go. Big up to Fitz. LCN says, what's your take on not selling Bruno this summer? I think it's an absolute disgrace. An absolute disgrace that that the club didn't take that money for Bruno Fernandes. And for me, the worst of it is that how a club of Manchester United stature, yeah, can't see the bigger picture of Bruno Fernandes is 31, yeah? He's no leader as well. And you're going to hear a lot of fans saying, who's going to be the captain? The captain at Manchester United should have been Casemiro. You know, you've got Casemiro and Matthias de Ligt that are the two captains. I don't look at Bruno Fernandes as a captain. He's just someone that shouts at other players to make himself look better. He's the one that points at other players and tells them what to do, because he knows he's got a fan base that just suck him off and they're in love with what he does. So again, when you're looking at Bruno pointing at players, telling them where to run, throwing his hands up when he doesn't get the ball or if he misplaces a pass, these things all feed into the hype around Bruno Fernandes. Because if you're a fan and you're a passion merchant kind of fan and you're not really looking at the football, you would actually think that Bruno's doing a lot. But the reality is, Bruno's a detriment to this team. So to think that the club didn't see these things and think, you know what, we've got a 31-year-old that his best years are behind, and we're going to get 90 to 100 million from Saudi, and then we can go and reinvest in the team. To think that the club didn't think like that, and then they left it down to Bruno and the manager, just shows you how much of a joke this club has become. So the fact that he's still here, Bruno Fernandes, the fact that Ineos are now, Jim Ratcliffe is saying that the manager deserves 3 seasons. Why are we surprised? The club have shown you already with that Bruno Fernandes decision that that they ain't serious. That's the problem. They're showing you that they're not serious. So if they're not serious, man, why should we expect anything different? So yeah, the fact that that they never sold him, that's why I can't be bothered with all this Saudi talk, because it's just pointless, man. It's just pointless. All top players have stat pads. Sorry, all top players have stats padded with set pieces. Again, that's a lie. That's a lie. And I'll tell you why it's a lie, yeah? Andres Iniesta, Ronaldinho, Zidane. That's just 3 players. Go and have a look at Zidane, Iniesta, and Ronaldinho. Go and have a look. They are 3 of the best players to ever play the game. Yeah? Go and have a look at how many goals them guys scored. Iniesta averaged about 5 goals a season. But you wouldn't think that, because football now has become a game where people only care about numbers over performances. So all top players don't have stats. That's a lie. That's a complete lie. Because there's no one in this chat right now that can go and tell me that Bruno Fernandes or whoever or whatever player has numbers are better than Zidane, Iniesta, and Ronaldinho. No one can come and tell me that. So that's actually a lie. You know? So yeah, listen. The Bruno money should have been used to rebuild the team. But these things are not even, they're not even groundbreaking stuff. It's just common sense. You know, the fact that they never sold Bruno Fernandes and yet they wanted to leave it in the manager's hands and leave it in Bruno's hands, that's where Ineos failed for me. You know, but I still gave them a bit of hope in terms of the players that were brought in, you know, the players that were removed. And I was thinking to myself, they are going to remove the manager. To think that Ratcliffe has come out saying he's 3 years, I'm now looking at things differently, because that to come out of his mouth is a joke. And then to use Arteta as the measuring stick, a guy that's been at Arsenal for what, 7 seasons now, and has won FA Cup without his team to show for it. And then to say that Ferguson won, you know, he won, what did Ferguson do? He won a trophy. Sorry, Ferguson needed 2 years. Yeah, he's using parameters for managers that don't make sense. It's just odd, man, what he's doing. So Lewis says, I love how every football fan thinks they are some kind of mastermind coach. But Lewis, you're coming on this channel, yeah, where you don't know my background, you don't know anything about me, and you're coming on there, you know, with no picture, just talking nonsense, you know. And in a day, man, you're entitled to your opinion. But when you're coming on there saying, I love how every football fan thinks they are some kind of mastermind coach, you have no idea my background. So you're just coming on there talking shit, basically, you know, because you can't construct a sentence, because you rather just come on there just hating on people because you ain't got the confidence to go and do anything yourself. That's the reality. You know, this is a channel where if you have an opinion on something, then have your opinion. But when you're coming on there just talking rubbish and you know nothing about someone like myself, my background in football, you're undermining myself and what I know about football to say that every football fan thinks they are some kind of mastermind coach. You know, you can't put every football fan together, because I'm not your average football fan. I'm not. So again, when you're coming on there, if you want to support the channel and bring something constructive. But if you don't, then don't be in there. You're not forced to be here. It's a fact. So most of our managers have gotten 2 to 3 seasons anyhow. So what's different with Ruben? The difference with Ruben Amorim is that he's had 10 wins as a Manchester United manager in 9 months, and the majority of those wins have come against relegated teams or teams that have been down to 10 men. The fact that we lost a Europa League final to Tottenham, which never should have happened. The fact that we finished 15th. Should I go on? The amount of records that this manager has broken. Again, go and check out my other contents as well. I think it might be in chapters as well. So there's some other content that I've done on Ruben Amorim, and I've gone through the amount of negative records that he's broken. And the only positive record that Ruben Amorim has at Manchester United is that he has a 73% win percentage in the Europa League. And again, who cares about Europa League? Again, we fully know from the quarterfinal stage to the semi-final, that was not Ruben Amorim's decisions to change the course of the game to get Man United into the final. That was done by the players. So again, when you're asking me what different has Amorim done? Go and check the negative records that is broken. Because as I said, you know, no manager should be given time if they're failing. They shouldn't be. And he's failed the worst out of any manager. Again, I didn't want Eric Ten Hag, but at least Eric Ten Hag has a trophy to show. You know, Amorim's got nothing. And he's shown nothing so far either. So, this is the problem. Big up to Jackie says, the best Ronaldo, Messi, Zidane, R9. I'm not sure what that means, but again, Kevin, you're missing the point. I know Ronaldinho and Zidane took free kicks, but what I'm trying to say to you, go and look at how many goals Ronaldinho and Zidane scored, and you will find out very quickly that Ronaldinho and Zidane didn't score half the amount of goals that Bruno Fernandes has scored. The point I'm trying to tell you, Kevin, yeah, is that Bruno Fernandes gets better numbers than Ronaldinho and Zidane. But are you going to come on here and tell me that he's a better player than both of them? Because he's not. And it's not about how many pens or free kicks those guys scored. Football has gone away from the best players, the best footballers. It's been dominated by people that get stats, by players that get stats. So as I said, when you mentioned that Bruno Fernandes' numbers dropped because Ronaldo come to the club, again, that will show you that Bruno Fernandes' stats are misskewed because people only look at Bruno as having a good season because of his numbers, you know. And then you mentioned the free kicks and penalties, which is why I said to you, go and have a look at Ronaldinho, Zidane, and Iniesta. These guys never had numbers. They didn't. That's the point. Yeah, big up to Fitz, man. Appreciate it, Fitz. Appreciate it, man. Again, my opinions are my opinions. And a lot of people have opinions but don't back up what they're saying. You know, I would always back up what I'm saying because, first and foremost, I've had a previous footballing career. You know, I've watched football, I've played football, and I've coached football. So when I come out with stuff, I don't just come out with stuff for the sake of it. Whereas a lot of people just say stuff and there's nothing to back it up. So... But yeah, no, I appreciate you, man. Big up yourself as well. All right, Kevin, let's move on, man. You're not getting it. You're not getting it. Let's move on. Yeah, Kevin, you're a hater, man. But we get it. The fact that Kevin's a hater and he's still here, it's good, man. It's good, you know. Because, again, Kevin's got no picture to his name. He's a hater. You know, he tried to tell me that Bruno Fernandes started in Michael Carrick's first game. But yeah, he's still here. He's still listening to me because he knows the truth, man. And unfortunately, your haters are always your biggest fans. That's life. It is what it is, Kevin. Big up. So IC says Zidane, the most overrated GOAT candidate. So I'm guessing IC must be about 10 years of age. Hasn't seen Zidane, just talking crap. Again, you're going to get people that talk shit, guys, but it is what it is, man. It is what it is. Yeah, let's move past Kevin, man. Kevin's lost. He's lost, man. It is what it is. So Soldier says Amorim should stay at United for the next 96 months. Why 96 months? Why 96 months? So you put Trent in Bruno's position and you'll see the same stats. But what's that got to do with anything, Soldier? I don't get that, man. What's that got to do with anything? So Drizzy, go in Facebook. There's a photo. Listen, man, you get haters all over the place, man. People can't match the opinion, or they can't have their own opinion, or or they can't get with the debate, so they just start talking shit. Unfortunately, man, these things happen. Unfortunately, you know, it's funny, man. It's funny. I'm here for football talk, man. But the reality is, you know, when you got when some of you come out with your opinions, I don't think you like the fact that I can counteract your opinion and prove that you're talking nonsense. You know, I've never said I suppress anyone's opinion. You are free to come on there and have your footballing opinion. But unfortunately, with yourself, Kevin, you come on here and you got no basis to back up what you're saying. And as soon as I counteract what you're saying, you end up just trying to be disrespectful or chat rubbish. So that's the problem, man. It's funny, man. It's funny. Kevin, I've counteracted every single opinion that you said. Every single opinion. As I said, man, like we're not really gonna get anywhere because like obviously you're stubborn or you're ignorant. So listen, you're not forced to be here, man. Like I like if you want to be here and support the channel, then support the channel. But you're not forced to be here, man. So it's up to you. It's up to you, man. But we're not getting anywhere because you don't really understand. You know what I mean? It's just pointless. But yeah, big up, man. Big up for coming on, people. Anyway, let's just time Kevin out, man, because he's just yeah he's on one. Let's just time him out for 24 hours because yeah. Listen, see you later, Kevin, man. You've been timed out. You're not bringing anything to the channel, man. Big up Fitz says, who is the best United player you've seen play? For me, it's Andy Cole. Um, that's a great question, Fitz, man. I think it's difficult. It's difficult because just picking one player doesn't really do it justice. I would say my footballing hero at Manchester United has to be Eric Cantona. Has to be Eric Cantona. But there is loads of players, man. There is loads of players, but I think Eric Cantona. You know, if you're from the era of if you're from the era of Eric Cantona, then you will know that Eric Cantona was one of the main reasons for Manchester United getting back to where they where they were meant to be. You know, he was one of the main reasons. You know, when he come from Leeds, you know, my son is literally named Cole Cantona Fitz. No way, no way. Yeah, listen, Eric Cantona, it has to be, man. Eric Cantona was an idol for me. You know, he for so many reasons. For so many reasons. You know, the aura. You know, if anyone remembers, you know, the collar up. The guy just didn't give a shit, man. And I've got so much respect for players like that just do their own thing. There was even times as well where, well, I say times, I think it was all the time when Alex Ferguson, you know, he knew the character that Eric Cantona was. So when everyone was coming in wearing suits, Eric Cantona was allowed to just wear what he wanted. It was a freedom of expression. And that's what you call good management, because you can't treat every player the same. Because Ferguson knew that Cantona was his match winner. So he just allowed Cantona to just go and do what he wanted. Because he knew on the pitch, he knew what he was going to get. So, as I said, man, yeah, Eric Cantona has to be. But special mentions to the likes of Beckham, Scholes, Dwight York, Andy Cole. I loved Yap Stam as well. Yap Stam was ridiculous. Again, I've met a lot of them. I've met Beckham and I met Beckham before he was famous. Again, if you guys want to see some photos from my past footballing background, again, make sure you guys become a member, and you can view that in the members section. So there's some pictures in there that you guys will probably be shocked to see. But Yeah, so as I said, yeah, there's a lot of footballing idols. Obviously, of recent times, you know, Paul Pogba, Anthony Martial, Robin van Persie, Wayne Rooney. Yeah, there's loads, man. There's loads. But I think if I had to pick one, um, if I had to pick one, I'm gonna say it has to be Eric Cantona for me, definitely. Yeah, Beckham, definitely, man. Beckham's definitely up there as well. Scott Hogan. I swear that's a professional that plays now in the lower leagues. Says, what's your view on Gerrard and Defoe to Rangers? Gerrard and Defoe as well, yeah. I mean, Gerrard had success there, so obviously they've sacked Russell Martin, and yeah, obviously it's strong links to Gerrard going back there. So yeah, I'm gonna say that it's probably an appointment that isn't really a surprise. You know, do I think Gerrard is a great manager? I don't really. I think Gerrard's been given opportunities because of the player, but you clearly saw at Aston Villa he was out of his depth, and obviously tougher league amongst top managers, he was out of his depth. But him going back to Rangers, and if I think that what is Defoe going to be his number two? Yeah, maybe it works, but um, yeah, I think it's a no-brainer. Really, he had success there, and maybe yeah, because in actual fact, I thought Gerrard was still at El Etifak in Saudi. I thought he was still there, but obviously he wasn't. So, but yeah, I think him going back to Rangers is a no brainer. Really. Let's see what he does second time round, because I'm pretty sure they'll be wanting to, you know, obviously go on the Champions. Are they in the Champions? No, they're not in Champions League, are they? I think it might be Europa. I'm pretty sure they would want to be going on a Europa League run, and obviously trying to get the title back from Celtic. So yeah, it's a no-brainer of a decision, really, you know. But guys, listen up, big up yourselves. S Bar says Giggs. Do you know what? I forgot Giggs, man. I actually forgot Giggs, but obviously Giggs is misdemeanors in his career. I think he goes lower down the pecking order. But again, yeah, Giggs is definitely up there as well. You know, and the funny thing is I forgot Giggs because the way that I see Giggs now isn't the same Giggs that I remember. You know, again, met Ryan Giggs, obviously one of my idols, but obviously his misdemeanors that he's done, which everyone should be aware of, should I say, has to mark him down for me. So yeah, it is what it is, man. S-Bar says, how about Saka's goal yesterday? I didn't see it. When England are playing the lower nations, I don't really watch because it's not telling me. And again, no disrespect to Wales, you know, no disrespect to Wales, but if there's any Welsh fans in there. But when England are playing the likes of Liechtenstein, Luxembourg, Malta, Wales, Moldova, all these countries that really they should be expected to beat, I don't really watch. The games that I watch England are when they're playing France, Italy, Germany, Holland, Portugal, Argentina, Brazil, some of the top nations in Africa as well. That's when I want to see what England have got to offer. Because watching those nations, England play, it's pointless. England should beat them because they've got the majority of their players playing in the stronger leagues. So, and they've got a wider pool of players to pick from. So it's not really a surprise. So I don't really want to watch England play against them teams. I want to watch them play against the top nations because this is where we see what they've got. Because I remember someone coming in the chat the other day saying that England has a 53% win ratio. They've got the best win ratio, I think, in Europe or something like that he was saying. But again, context, which is what context needs to happen. Context won't tell you that the majority of those wins have come against the teams I just mentioned and not against the best nations. So this is what it is, you know. So so yeah, I didn't see it yesterday. But guys, listen up. Big up yourselves for coming on each and every time. Make sure you guys smash the like button on your way out as well. Big up to Fitz, man. Says, before you go, what days do you stream, bro? I'll lock in. No, I appreciate it. Stream. Fitz, I'm live every day, man. Every day. every day. I'm usually live at 11:30 in the morning, but I've changed the times now to 10:30. So yeah, I'm gonna be live every morning at 10:30. Again, there might be times where I can't be live at 10:30, but if I'm not live at 10:30 in the morning, then I'm usually live in the evening at 7:30. So it's either one of them two times. So 10:30 in the morning or 7:30 in the in the evening. So yeah, 10:30 in the morning, 7:30 in the evening. So yeah, no, I appreciate it, man. So as I said, yeah, make sure you do lock in. Check out all the other content as well. And guys, check out my playlist. I got some good playlists up. So there's a playlist of me, obviously a new one I put up, you know, of me playing five-a-side, some goals in there. It's called GavGoesIn's Great Goals. So yeah, check that out. Check out all the other playlists as well. You know, obviously I said I got a boxing fight coming up, 6th of December. So I will be putting some content obviously out there as well. As I said, yeah, I'll be definitely locked in for that as well, man. I'll be focused. You know, I've got some training coming up. So I start my training next Wednesday. So I'll be having some content that I'll be putting up for the members only section. So again, if you guys do want to become a member and support the channel, there'll be some good content for you guys to view. And there's some good posts on there now as well. So as I said, yeah, make sure you guys tune in for that. And yeah, check out all the other content, you know. And again, if you are new in here and you enjoy the content, you enjoy the real conversations that not many channels will have, you know, no holds barred conversations, then yeah, make sure you guys sub to the channel. And as I said, much appreciated you coming on. Big up to all the mods, big up to all the contributions today on the channel. And what's tomorrow? Saturday. So yeah, I should be live tomorrow, guys. Same time tomorrow morning. Again, if any news drops later tonight, then I'll try and be live. Well, I'll be live tonight if there's anything that drops, anything major. If not, usual times in the morning. As I said, international break's boring, but we'll try and get through it. One more week, I believe, and then back to the Premier League season. So yeah, Premier League resumes. So yeah, guys, big up yourselves each and every time for coming through. As I said, check out all the other content. Check out the playlists. Smash the like button on the way out. Sub to the channel if you're new. And yeah, I'll catch you guys a bit later. Take it easy.